Cowabunga, Kimosabe. Welcome to Water Polo Wednesday with Wes and Clay. He's Wes.
And he's Clay.
And we have an upcoming National League weekend. Weekend 3, SoCal only. NorCal is still in their bye. We have a few things to talk about, Wes, not just nationally, but certainly a lot of things related to it. What's on the agenda today?
Well, a lot of great stuff. We got the women's, we got the National League Game of the Week. We got a couple of great guests coming on the show this week. And of course the transfer window for National League, different than NC2A transfer window, but transfer window for National League is now closed. And so some updates there.
Okay. Where do we want to head first?
Well, first off, we want to thank everybody. I was up at Las Lomas this last weekend, and the Dodds did did clinics at Los Altos and Las Lomas. For those of you in Northern California that missed it, I'm sorry. We did our best to promote it, but keep an eye on some of the Instagram stuff and whatever else. There was 12s and 14s on Saturday, 16s, 18s on Sunday. Huge turnout, great success. I appreciate all the parents that were there. Had a great chat with somebody at Las Lomas, and really appreciate just the camaraderie there and the questions and the curiosity. I think the kids got a lot out of it. We got great feedback from some parents at both Los Altos and Las Lomas. So the Dodds did a really nice job. They also had Baxter Chelsham and Trey Doughton there, a couple of national champions, and of course the U18 goalie, one of the U18 goalies, U20 goalie, excuse me, from 2025. My dates are all off.
Where are we?
He won a silver in Zagreb, Croatia. Couldn't ask for a nicer guy. And Baxter, I've always enjoyed hanging with Baxter. So that was really cool. And then I was on the women's game at Cal, which I got a sweet Block C hat I wanted to support. So I want to thank Cal Athletics for that. And, of course, for having me on their broadcast. For those of you interested in supporting LA Athletic Club or even our show, it goes a long way. Check out a couple of things. First off, Prep to Play Sports has been a very good partner of ours, and we're continue to promote them as they've continued to be a great partner of not just Water Polo Wednesday, but just water polo in general. And they're doing things for athletes like Adrian, like Chase, like Ryder, I think even Andras Toth out there at Fordham, in getting them opportunities to capitalize on NIL and make money and work with young athletes. So it's a really give back type of thing where the young athletes get to kind of do Q&As and learn from these great athletes. And so that's awesome. Additionally, we have the LAAC final shop up, and we want to share this with you. So last year we did something like this. I assure you this year will be a bit better. Let's take a look at this. And so last year we didn't offer jerseys. This year we are offering jerseys, and we're allowing you to customize them.
Custom jerseys.
Custom jerseys. So you can put your name and whatever number you want on the back of that jersey. And you'll get the jersey that the players are getting. We don't usually release this stuff simply because we try to keep.
We don't have a merchandise department. It's just more
we don't have a merchandise
for
department
us to do.
Right. We also like surprising the players with the jerseys at the end of the season because it's kind of unique. There's options for the LAC T-shirt as well as hat. Now the hat will also be available at National League Finals. That's kind of when we plan to get these out. For those of you who require a ship, there's if you need it to be shipped to you, we offer that option, and we'll get those out as quick as we can. If you've ordered and require shipping, we've already started that process, so you'll get it sooner. And so that's totally up to you what you prefer, or you can pick it up at National League Finals. But this is a great way to support LA Athletic Club, support the league. We want and the players, right? We want to see that the players are being supported, that the teams are being supported. We're trying to build fandom, which is good for our sport. And so just head over to laathleticClub.com. I'll walk you through this right now. And you go to shop, which is pretty straightforward. And it's just going to take you straight to the shop. It's a one-click deal. And there you go. And you can place your order. So we appreciate that. And any support anybody can kind of give. Oh, I need to go to share this tab. Sorry, it opens a new tab. And there we are back at it. So want to call that out, but appreciate any support anybody else can give. It's a big piece for us, as we really want to support the athletes, want to support the clubs. If there's other clubs that want publicity, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help, and kind of go from there. So those are two big things we do want to call out. Be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel. or become a member if you want to support the show directly. So that would also be great.
Yep. And this is all leading up to National League Finals weekend. Again, May 1st through 3rd. That's a Friday through Sunday. It's going to be in Orange County. Pools will probably include Servite High School, Willett Aquatic Center, whatever else. Final schedule has not been released yet because we don't have final seating.
We don't have final seating yet.
Yeah.
Northern California still has to wrap up their conference play. They don't have non-conference games in Northern California, only 6 games. And so we'll see how that shakes out. The only kind of limitation or restriction is that teams cannot play somebody from their conference in the quarterfinal. That's what we're trying to achieve. Semifinal, it is what it is. There's only 4 teams left.
Yep.
But quarterfinal, round of 8, if you will. You should be familiar with that. Elite 8, as March Madness would call it. That's when some crossover stuff will occur. This upcoming weekend, though, all cross-conference play, non-conference play for the teams in Southern California. And game of the week, Clay, is Riptide and LA Athletic Club.
So game of the week is LA Athletic Club versus Riptide at Crespi Carmelite High School in Encino, California.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of games in the LA area. So if you are ever in LA and wishing you could get down to those games in Orange County or Northern California, well, here you go. It's in your backyard. Finally, it's at 5:45 p.m. Try to get there early. We love Riptide, man. We've been around them for a long time. Partners with them in a lot of different ways. Compete a lot of tournaments together. Eric, Melissa have been building that up for before LA Athletic Club existed, right? I personally played tournaments with them, so there's a lot of family there, and I think it'll be a great match.
Yeah, it will be a very good match. You'll look at guys like Dane Howell, who we'll have on the show with Eric Prowlis here in a bit as our first set of guests. Excited for them. They picked up a lot of Pepperdine guys, and so they've gone that route, right? So they've gotten the clearance from Pepperdine compliance for those players to compete with them. I know that they're pumped about this matchup. Riptide having a little bit of a down year by their standards, to be quite frank with you. They're 3-3. I know they dropped a tough one to Long Beach that I feel they thought they should have had. Gabby Acosta was just a little too much to handle. But they're in that SoCal.
He put up 10 in that game, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot too much to handle, right? Like you got to stop that guy. He can't give up 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, Riptide 3-3. They're currently 4th in SoCal Blue Division, and behind Long Beach, New York, and Mission. Mission going 6-0 in their group. So exciting opportunity this weekend to come out. Crespi High School, nice pool, by the way, a little odd shaped, but 50 meters. Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know, it's a weird shape, but it's 50 meters. I think it's a private Franciscan high school. The other private boy, I think all boys as well, is my gut. Is Crespi High School all boys?
I don't know that, but I wouldn't challenge it if someone told me it was.
It's all male.
That's where
high school.
Also the home of Cal West it's also their home, and they started up a new Masters Pocket there just a few years ago.
Yeah. So LA has more pools than even we are aware of. I didn't know this was a thing. So heading up there, and that's going to be a really good matchup in weekend 3 here as we kind of march towards finals. Again, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We don't know where quarterfinals will be. We believe that semifinals will be at Servite on Saturday, May 2nd. Please, please, please mark your calendars. We can't emphasize enough how great these matchups are going to be Saturday and Sunday. And then finals, I believe, will be at Willett. We don't know the times of anything. I believe semifinals will be in the evening, however, under the lights and good environment. We are working on getting some beer. If you've got some beer preferences, now is a good time to ask. There will be, opportunity for food there for sure. As well. And so it's going to be a good time. And we're really excited about the growth of this. My hope, Clay, my goal is, hey, how do we get 500 to 700 people out there at Servite? I know they're coming out this week to measure for more stands. It's like, let's see what we can do. I have wild dreams of having a pool in a basketball stadium like they do in Serbia. But if we can't get to 700, we can't get to 12,000.
If we can't do Crypto.com Arena, we're going to do the next best thing.
We're going to do that with the Servite High School. So there you go. But that is the exciting part of it. We're going in a non-conference weekend. So it'll be interesting to see some other exciting things about non-conference. Pepperdine will be playing exhibition games.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a lot of fun. You'll have USAB competing as well as Riptide at Crespi. And then LA Athletic Club, and so that'll be great. I think Sunset is there as well at LMU. I'll share. Actually, I should be sharing the screen with everybody so people can see it. We'll also put the link in the description for you to see to check this out, so you can check that out. And Lions will be taking on NIAC, and then USA Youth will also be taking on NIAC. USA Youth will be competing against Riverside. Now, Riverside will be competing as CBU this weekend. And so part of what's challenging is when a team competes as their university, which means their coaches can coach them. Any youth player cannot compete against them if they're not on Team USA.
Right.
Now, what we're trying to get away from is just that. We want schools to go ahead and schedule their 4 games during their 20 hours some other time or place, which then would capitalize on those players getting 4 more games than they would. And this being purely club. That is the objective here. It's my understanding, at least. My how I've understood this is they want these teams to stay as clubs through the whole season so that there isn't any limitations on rosters. And players can play where they want to play, and everybody is effectively a club. So that's very interesting. But for now, CBU will be competing as CBU during this time. I also think in weekend 4, USC will be fight on. I'm sorry, USC will be USC, not fight on. Again, so getting away from it. I digress. Back to weekend 3. Exciting weekend of games. On Sunday, there will be more games at Pepperdine, Sunset, USAB, and USA Youth, Long Beach, Nyack, South County. So that should be good. And, of course, LAAC will then be taking on CBU. Lions will be taking on Riptide. I just want to make sure there's no duplicates there. And Lions and CBU as well. So exciting games this weekend. Come out if you're in the area. We've never done one up at Crespi. So hopefully we get a few people out.
This is a first.
It's a first
I think in LA, we've seen games being hosted at Loyola Marymount. We've seen games at La Cañada High School. Thanks, Armand. So this is the third site that I'm aware of in LA that's hosted these games. So thank you.
Yeah. Pepperdine too. We had games, I think, at Pepperdine last year.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we weren't there, but I think they did host them last year.
Right.
So yeah. So coming up next will be a quick word from our sponsor, Prep to Play Sports. Don't forget about checking them out. If you've got a young kid playing, it's a great opportunity to connect with elite athletes and learn just a ton. There's more to this game than just getting in the pool and playing it. There's a lot that can be learned by, conversing with great athletes that they have on their platform. So we'll be right back with that. And of course, an interview now with Eric Perales, the head of Riptide, and Dane Howell right after this.
Hey guys, so we at Prep to Play Sports have just launched a new platform for high school athletes to learn directly from the best water polo players around. Seeing how the greatest athletes think and see the game is not something that many of us get to do. So what we're trying to do is make this more accessible to everyone around the country. This month we have sessions from Chase Dodd, Max Irving, and Adrian Weinberg, some of our best players in the Olympic national team. So we'd love for you guys to join our community and let us know what you think.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I want to thank everybody for joining us here. Our first interview of 2 in this episode this week. We've got Eric Perales, the head coach and head man at Riptide, and Dane Howell, who's a 2-time Riptide player, was one of the top players in National League this year, returning for a second stint with Riptide in National League. And he is second in goals on the team. It won't be long before you're leading in goals between you and Leo, So thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate you having us on.
Of course. Dane, I think you've been on here once before for the Pepperdine kind of like pre-WCC press conference, which is a lot
nice
of fun.
Shadow box behind you, by the way, Dane.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's in the frame.
I love it. You'll have that forever. It's just a matter of time until Clay takes off his shirt and it's got a Pepperdine Wave shirt on or something like that. So
it's been done. I got something else.
You got something else. All right, great.
Can't wait.
Eric, you've been running Riptide for a long time. I've known you for probably more than a decade at this point. We've been a part of National League for since the very beginning, in one capacity or another. Talk to us about the journey, I think, because I think it's really interesting. Nobody really knows what we go through as like basically GMs of these teams. Talk to us about what it's like to build a team and to build a program the way that you have that has reached this sustainability mark of being around year after year after year.
Well, you guys actually inspired us way back when it was Inner Red, Republica, LA. We were just getting trounced by you guys over and over. And finally I was like, God, we can't do this anymore. We gotta step it up. So you guys were the inspiration to help us grow and get more serious. And then that was a journey in itself. Our first year, I think, was maybe 2018, and we were, gosh darn, near the bottom. We trained hard, but we didn't know what we were. I mean, we had an idea, but we truly didn't know what we were getting into. And then year two was good. Year three, 2020, got cut short. We had that big upset over LAAC.
I remember that. Rafael Kremp on a post up, just put it away.
So,
I remember the exact play.
And then it was Austin Miller. Miller cross cage.
Yep. On the
cross
right
cage,
side, no angle, cross cage low, game buzzer beater.
Funny story about that, though. We were all celebrating, and he was bummed. He was aiming near side and accidentally went cross cage. Not to throw him under the bus, but he giggles about it. And it was a good moment. It was a big.
Championships have been won off of defensive blocks being redirected into the cage, so it happens.
It was a big moment for our club, and feeling like we could be there. And then I think maybe it was a year after. I think we beat you once, and then you guys came back so hard and stepped it up again. And it seems like every time, like we're there, you guys raise the standard, which it is tough to try and keep up, but we find ways, and the sustainability is for us has been the consistency since putting it together in 2011, just showing up day in, day out. I mean, I'm on deck right now. The boys are practicing, except for Dane.
Dane.
But, the belief system that we can do it. And, I think we're one of the few teams that trains weekly. That certainly helps. I mean, it's been a long journey, and we've had our ups and downs, and I feel like we're back on the up. I mean, our last couple games haven't gone so well, but week one was good. And Dane's obviously been a big part of that since, we've known Dane. Riptide's known Dane since he was in high school when he was with us. And then he's been a big turning point for our squad, recruiting his buddies. And, it's a big bunch of boys that all like to hang out with each other, which is cool.
Yeah, so important. So important to have that camaraderie, and just the opportunity to be together, to play together, to train together. Have you found that it builds something more than just playing water polo together? Is that kind of the ethos?
It's really cool that these guys on the side babysit my kiddo, and I trust them. So yeah, it is different. I mean, gosh, if we go back and you look at my wedding, I had about 25 of these guys at my wedding, which was neat, and it's not like I played with them. They play for our club and become a part of our family, loosely speaking, so that's really what this has turned into, which, it's more than just a club. It's, good friends. So.
Yeah, I love it. So, Danny, I didn't realize you've been a part of Riptide for a very long time, man. So was this always the plan to come back to Riptide once you kind of finished your time at Pepperdine, dominating the WCC conference there?
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, when I was in high school, I liked coming to Riptide, especially because of the National League squad. Like back then, those guys are my idols. You had so many good players, and I just watched them play, and I learned so much from them. And then I went into Orange Coast College, and I went into Pepperdine. During Orange Coast College, I came back to Riptide, so I've been on and off. And then Pepperdine, I went away again. But it was always my plan to come back because I love the sport, and it's amazing what Eric has built that allows all these players to come back and play with guys that they really like. Like we were just talking about connections. I mean, the guys I've met for the last 2 years, they're all super close. I mean, we hang out after practices, we're hanging out on weekends. Like these are the type of guys to go to each other's when they have issues, when there's a new opportunity, and so it's an amazing program. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, right on. And you guys are. We don't know what we're going to get with Riptide. Sometimes, some years I feel like they're the team to beat, and some years, as we all have, they're up and down. What has kept you going for so long, Eric? Like this is a labor of love. I'm sure if you're like us, not making any money on doing this with the men's level. It's the youth level where you make the money. What has kept you going for so long?
You know, it really stems from my wife, where she had to fight for so many opportunities to play.
Yeah.
Because she was a part of the first UCI women's team.
Yeah.
And the opportunities were scarce, and so she's always wanted more for people that don't have the opportunities. And then looking around our neighborhood or the close community with all these junior colleges, Golden West is a team always to beat. And then we've wanted to extend the opportunity to the OCC boys, Long Beach City, Cypress, whoever wanted to come. We truly wanted to, for us, was seeing them move to the next level. And a lot of it is that, like you say, it's a labor of love, and we don't make much money. And I think that's why you don't see many teams doing what you do, what we do, and just keep pouring our heart and soul into it. This is what we do after we make our daily living, and we pour the rest of our soul into this, just trying to create opportunities, trying to grow the sport. Like you guys have done so well of bringing the spotlight to this National League and creating opportunities and clinics, and just trying to reach the next generation and to keep this going. And ultimately, I think our goal is to bring our boys home and play here rather than abroad, and make this a good platform. So I mean, that's the goal, isn't it? Just to bring attention to everyone that we can.
Sure. And we can certainly relate to that. I think everything from this podcast to LA Athletic Club was designed to grow the sport. And I'm glad you're making a little money. I will be very transparent. I do not make any. Neither does Clay. But I'm glad you're making a little bit of money and just keeping it going, right? There's got to be some financial justification. Eric, Dane, talk to us. You played last year in National League. You were a real standout for Riptide. You guys were a very good team last year. You got a lot of your Pepperdine brethren on the team. A little bit like what Eric said, Pepperdine South. Talk to us about what that's like, having so many Pepperdine guys, and then all these other guys, the Leo Unos of the world, Connor Turnbull, Lindenstadt, who have been Riptide and then Channel Cats and back to Riptide. What has that been like? How's the mesh been between everybody, or is it pretty seamless for you guys?
Yeah, every week, every game, we're learning how to mesh together better and better. It's more about play styles. I mean, I've played with these Pepperdine guys for many years, and so I'm happy to have them on the team. But I think other guys fit into the lines pretty well, just with comparable and compatible play styles. And so a guy like Leo, I mean, phenomenal player. He can fit into the line with the Pepperdine guys. It's not like we're pushing him out of a Pepperdine line. It's very seamless, and it's cool to see the comparison from last year to this year. I think last year we built up the team where everyone was super connected, like I was talking about earlier. And so
Yeah.
that piece of it everyone loved. And then
Mhm.
this year we started moving to having different players. And so we were kind of nervous about how that was going to go with the
Mm.
meshing. And
Sure.
I mean, first weekend we really enjoyed playing with each other. I think we meshed well and we're just fitting all the pieces in. Like we've seen laps in some games, but overall, we really have the pieces that we could put together and be a very good team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's good that everybody's kind of working, learning to play together, work together. That's a hard piece, but I'm sure the practice really helps. You guys get Sunset and LA Athletic Club on Saturday this weekend. Sadly for Dane and the rest of the Pepperdine guys, you got to go to Crespi. How does that work for you with Pepperdine having exhibition games at Pepperdine? What we don't. I don't think we have anybody at Pepperdine on our roster. So how does that work for you guys? And you don't have to share if it's secret. It's okay too.
Dan?
Uh, I mean, we've talked to them, and they're going to show up to the games when it's possible, and they're going to feel it out. But I told them like I did this last year, where I did 4 games in one day with the exhibition games, and then with Riptide,
Yeah.
and I thought that was the best conditioning possible. Like after that,
Sure.
that was the best I felt. Like I went into season, and I was doing all the sprints, had a very successful sprint record, and I attribute that
Indeed.
to
Yes.
all the games that I played in one day and all the games I played in one weekend.
Yeah. So those guys have the potential to play 3 games in one day and,
Yeah,
and
just go
whatever
back and forth
else.
between Pepperdine and Crespi.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Only 30 minutes.
No
It's
problem.
only 30 minutes. No problem at all. They're young, right? They're young. They can handle it. And then you guys get NL Lions, it looks like, on Sunday. So talk to us about the approach going into this weekend, Eric. How do you prepare?
Well, we just got one of the guys that I've known for quite a while. He's a data analyst, and he brought up a point a few years ago that he would let one of our guys shoot in the third quarter. He would tell his team, "Hey, just let that guy shoot in the third quarter. If he doesn't score," and I would always wonder, I was like, "Man, my guy's getting off a lot of shots." And then he showed me all the numbers, and I'm like, "Good Lord, that he didn't score all of National League in the third quarter." But he would come up in the fourth, and so then they would press him in the fourth. So I'm going to start following maybe a little bit of Moneyball or James Graham approach. And, he has a whole analyst of every team, like of what they've put in so far and some players. And then as far as the Sunset team, I know quite a few of them. We were in Hawaii last year playing with each other, and they allowed me to be on the team, and they did all the heavy lifting. But it's nice that I have some familiarity with them, so kind of know some of their tendencies that will help leading into that game. Otherwise, it'll be watching some game film, which is so nice about overnight. You can go back and start looking at games and how those work. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that'll be the approach.
Oh, cool. Dane, anything in particular you do to prepare for these weekends like this?
Well, I mean, tactic coming into it, I'm just thinking that in the games that we've been successful in the past, I'm not going to give away any secrets, but in general, it's going to be limiting the
Dang
counterattacks
it.
and putting away our
Dang it.
6-on-5. But yeah, those if we can limit that and be successful in our 6-on-5s, then we're going to have very good games. And I'm also the type of guy to do a lot of visualization, and so I'm going to be watching some of the LA clips, the UCSD clips, and I'm going to see if I can think about what I need to be doing.
Sure. Sure. Cool. Clay, what do you got? I've been dominating. I could ask questions all night, I feel like.
I know. We'll get your little one behind you, so I know we have a limited span here. I mean, Eric, I guess one of the questions that I had was you said that LA Athletic Club, what they've been doing, like inspired you to step up what Riptide was doing. I mean, why? Why did it compel you to start doing more with Riptide? I'm just curious.
Oh man, I'm a competitor. I don't like losing. I mean, winning's okay, but I just hate losing. And you guys were doing it and you made it look easy.
Was
You
it?
guys just, wow.
This is interesting. This is very
It,
interesting. Go on.
you guys, when we play, you guys just made it look easy and that you guys were bored. I'm like, God, we're wasting their time. And it just didn't sit right. So, you know, uh, I walked in. It's really funny about this story too. I walked into USA Water Polo's office when they were in Huntington Beach, and I went straight to John Abdu. I'm like, "Hey, I got a team. Put us in National League." And he's like, "You got a squad?" I'm like, "I have a squad." And I was lying through my teeth. Sorry, John. And we had one player, and that was our center, Dalton Kennefic, which he played for me since he was 14. So we built around him and went from there. And, when I put my name out there to say, hey, we have a squad, I was like, that was the ultimate, like, okay, I got to get this going. And then it went from there.
Well, for what it's worth, Eric, it is not easy. There's nothing about this that seems to be easy. But I'll also say, when you beat us, and I'll never forget when you beat us, it really inspired us as well. So there's a lot of mutual respect here, man. And so it goes both ways. I hope you know that. Do you want to talk about the league that you run, Eric, the American League?
American League, gosh, that is it's a lot of my wife. She
Melissa Fernandez, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, for those who don't.
No. I won that battle. She's a Paralysis. Competitive.
Excuse me, Melissa Perales, formerly known as.
Yeah. Yes. But when it comes to water polo, she'll tell you she's a Fernandez. But she does a lot of the behind the scenes, and she's really helped grow from, I think, 8 teams is where we started, and it's grown to 24 teams this year. Huge growth, and really trying to move it from like a master's league to, we have a lot of the D3 colleges, a couple D2s, some JCs, and it's big, and it's really about her, and I'm just trying to ride those tailcoats and do some social media stuff for her. But yeah, she's the brains behind it. I'm the idea guy. She completes my ideas, and yeah, and she's a financier of that stuff too. Because I just like to spend it. I have these ideas, spend the money, and then, hey, please make this happen for me. So
yeah,
but yeah,
I love it. Well, very
but
cool.
Now,
put together.
Now I got to get a website like you guys, and start going from there.
Website, yeah, that's not that hard. You can do it in today's world. Use Claude. You can build one, or Bob on IBM. You can build something pretty easily.
Yeah.
We do appreciate you guys taking the time to be here, and we're looking forward to playing you this weekend. Any closing thoughts?
By the way, game of the weekend this Saturday, right. March 21st, 5:45 p.m. at Crespi Carmelite High School in Encino, California. Check it out.
Riptide LA Athletic Club. Be a good matchup of 2 men's teams. Any closing remarks? Anything you'd like to share? Dan, we'll let you go first.
I'm just excited to be playing you guys on Saturday. We're gonna give you a good game for sure. I'm very excited. It'll be good to see you guys as well. And I always like to remind you guys that I love what you're doing with Water Polo Wednesday with LAAC. So thank you guys for promoting the sport.
Of course, man. It's been great having you on the last couple of times, Dan. We're gonna miss your face on some of the episodes, and of course, I know Clay will miss calling your name when Howell sends it home.
I need to get a recording of that match.
Had to get a recording.
Love that one.
It was great. All time, dude. It was all time. Eric, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just thankful for you guys putting this together, putting the work in. That all the things that go unnoticed or behind the scenes that takes a lot of effort. So happy to be here. Happy to help promote. Thank you guys.
Sure. Well, again, it's great to have you both on. Thank you so much for taking the time, Dan. I know you got school. Eric, obviously, you got the little one with you. We've all got families and time that gets sucked away pretty quick. But we very much appreciate you guys both being here. So thank you.
Yep.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Now that the men are out of the way, let's talk about what's really important here. Ladies, NC2A season, Wesley.
Yeah,
what's the latest and greatest?
It's been a good season. I was very fortunate to be on the game, the Cal versus Hawaii game this past weekend with Greg Mescal. Had a nice flow going, one of the better broadcasts I've been a part of. And the game was outstanding. Hawaii, I thought, played the best that they've played against Cal. They played them 3 times now, and Cal has won all 3. And it is, I get it is hard to play a team 3 times, be it you're winning all 3 or losing all 3. Like it's hard. But was really impressed with Hawaii. I'll start with Agatha Weston, who was outstanding. She is a absolute force to be reckoned with. Great outside shooter. She's got amazing length and can really finish from the outside. And then Daisy Lochtons, who in the cage for Hawaii. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen a better goalie this year in the women's game. She's that good. She is elite. So really exciting game there. 10-8 finish. It was 10-7 going into the fourth quarter. Cal didn't score a goal. I talked to Coach Simmons, Corley Simmons of Cal. I said, you didn't score a goal in the fourth quarter, but you didn't have to because you only gave up 1. She goes, I want to be very clear. We want to score. We want to score more goals, and that is something we're working on. And so, to that point, they beat Arizona State earlier in the year, 11-10, and now 10-8 over Hawaii. So they'll get Indiana this weekend. The big matchup I'm looking at March 28th at USC, Cal versus USC, a 3 versus 4 matchup, because I think that is going to really determine seeding at the NC2A more so than even the MPSF tournament. And that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They have USC March 28th and then Stanford April 4th at Stanford. And so I think that those 2 games to end the season, the USC game more to me determine it because I just don't know if Cal is at the level of USC UCLA. Or I'm sorry, UCLA Stanford. Just don't know. Defensively, I'm not sure. They're getting better. I'm just not sure yet. We're just not sure. We haven't seen it. So we'll see it soon. Now, around the league, we got a comment in. We want to cover as much middle ground as we can. We're around the league. Princeton dropped a heartbreak to Indiana, 11-10 on a last-second shot from the goalie that goes in from Indiana to win that game. USC beat ASU 21-17. Millie Quinn scoring 8 goals. Ava Stryker didn't factor. I don't know if she played or didn't play. I haven't had a chance to watch that game, but she didn't factor. And so USC still winning that game despite not having Ava Stryker, who is a really big deal for that USC team. LMU beating Pacific. Pacific came off a couple of big wins, beating Davis and San Jose State last weekend. Harvard continues their dominant ways. They beat UCSD 12-6, San Jose State 13-4, and San Diego State 14-9 this past weekend. So they're thumping around. Like, Harvard's doing some work. 10 minutes after winning the first ever conference championship for Harvard, they have continued their winning ways. And, I think they're going to be a top 10 team at the end of the season. I think that the road leads through them right now and in that conference. Which is great to see. I mean, can Ted go back to back? Good for him. Sometimes when you win that first one,
he can.
Of course he can. I mean, I'm a big Ted Minnis believer. I really am. I think he's great. I've known him a long time. He's part of our family. But I think that they can, and I got to be honest, I think they're the favorites. UCSD beat Indiana 11-10. UCLA beating Fresno State 14-8. Fresno State having a bit of a down year. They're a little young, but they'll rally back. One notable call out, Joey Neese has been the goalie for UCLA in their last couple of games here. And Lauren Steele not being rostered. I hope she's okay. We don't know what's going on there, but Joey Neese has stepped up, played very good water polo as they won this past weekend. they've been very solid. That UCLA team is very, very, very good. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out with the women's side of things. But in the middle, I know UCLA is getting Harvard this Saturday at UCLA at 1 p.m. So that'll be very good. And then this past weekend, let me see if I've got it here. They did beat Fresno State 14-8 and San Jose State 19-5. So they're continuing to hold teams to like lower goal totals. Now, there's no transient property I believe in. There's general themes, but there's nothing that I can point to and say, well, they beat Fresno State 12-8, and so Cal beat them 10-8, and that means UCLA is 2 goals better than Cal. That doesn't work for me. This sport is tough, and at that level, where 2 very close teams, anything can really happen. A bar out, a call. It comes down to oftentimes 1 to 2 plays. So it's exciting right now around women's water polo. LMU has been good as well this year, beating Pacific 13-7. I think I called that out. But been quite a few good games as we're marching towards conference championships that will pick up the week after Easter, so like the April 10th, 11th, and 12th. And so looking forward to that and what that looks like. A little shorter season this season, Clay, it just is what it is at this point in time. So
why is it a shorter season?
I don't know why. I actually can't tell you why. It's shorter. I know Stanford only has 4 home games.
Tell us why. Email us at waterpolowednesday@gmail.com.
Yeah. If you know. A coaching change. The head coach of Michigan has stepped down. So Sammy Hill has taken over at the University of Michigan. Hold up a second here. So trade one public school for another. As we
colors
support
stay the same.
The colors stay the same, but the letters are different. We got the block M, not the block C.
I think I'm going to get you just a blue hat with some Velcro on it, and you can just swap in letters as you go.
Yeah, my head's gotten bigger. This hat's a little tighter than it used to be, so I guess so they say.
So smart.
Go blue. But Sammy Hill stepping into the head coaching role. In my mind, that's got to be a premier job. Knowing what I know about Michigan, I liken them. They are Cal and Michigan are the 2 top public universities in the United States. And my wife played at Michigan. For those of you who don't know, a standout, absolute freak of an athlete is my wife. So apologies, Hathaway. She was unbelievable there at Michigan, and it's a great university. It's got the best football program in America, and I am not biased at all when it comes to that. And I think that if going to the University of Michigan, a head coaching job at the University of Michigan, to me is the equivalent of a like MPSF, UCLA, USC, Stanford type job, Cal type job. And there's huge recruitability, the largest alumni network. I go on and on about Michigan, but to me, Michigan's got to get it right. There's a huge opportunity there to recruit. They've got money because of the football program rolling through. There's a lot of good things about that. So wishing them all the best in finding the best possible candidate who really bleeds blue, because you really got to believe it. You're going to live in Ann Arbor in the Midwest. You got to believe in the university. It's the reputation itself is outstanding, but they're younger in the water polo sphere and less accomplished, quite frankly. Though, in my opinion, I'm not sure they should be, given that what the resources they have and the alumni network and the academic prowess of the University of Michigan.
There you go.
A little bit of gas there for University of Michigan.
Hey, I'm sure they want it. Michigan standing as potential Fordham of the women's game. Not to make comparisons, but if there's teams that have a great resource to them and an attractive school to go to that can compete with these other top 4 schools, Michigan might have it.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Be sure to follow along. And again, if you want to shop the LAAC shop, we would appreciate it very much. And then up next, we're going to have the head coach of ASU, they've been very good this year, sitting right about 5'6" with Hawaii, Petra Party, and I believe one other, but I'm not sure just yet. We'll let you join to find out right after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are joined here now by the head coach of Arizona State University women's water polo, Petra Party. and freshman Macy McGee. Thank you both for being here.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us. Very excited to be on the show.
Yeah. Now, you guys are on a heck of a run. It has been a lot of fun to kind of see. I haven't seen you guys live and in person, but just looking at scores, watching some of the replays, ASU is the real deal this year. Petra, you've built this program. You've been the head coach now for a few years. You've been there since you were 18 years old as a freshman. Talk to us about the approach. Like, this is awesome for water polo. We love to see teams growing and building. And so talk to us about the approach here that you've taken that has built this team that is now number 5 in the country.
Well, it took a long time to get there. I'm not a patient person. For anyone who knows me, not at all. But I think 2 things. One, there's a lot of parity in the 2026 women's water polo season. For all the top 10 teams, anyone can beat anyone. I truly believe that any given day. Okay, Stanford, UCLA, they're up there. They're amazing, and they have a very loaded roster. But from 3 to 10, anyone can get anyone on any given day, and I truly believe that. And I think that makes it a really, really fun season on its own. And it's really fun for us too, because early on we found some really good success with a very young roster. And, it's been fun. It's nice to get a couple of those big wins against Fresno, against LMU. It's unfortunate that we don't get to play Hawaii this year, but I think that would be an awesome match that a lot of people would be very interested in. Same with Long Beach, Irvine. We played them twice, so lots of fun games that we got to play, and just kind of how we got there. It's all a little bit of a fever dream, but I want to say it's lots of small incremental changes over time. This is the 4th season that our staff has had together, and since I've became the head coach of this program, and we were trying to make the right choice at each decision that we faced, keeping the future and the long term in mind, and not rushing decisions or not jumping in on players too early on. And it really paid off, because now we have nine true freshmen playing in our regular
on your roster. Wow.
Yeah, they're very freshman heavy, and that's a good thing for the future.
Sure. Well, you're playing exceptionally well with 9 true freshmen. And as we kind of talked about before we jumped on to record, you were saying that your freshmen really factor in. That's a testament to your recruiting. You've got Macy McGee right next to you here, who's playing well. But you also have Millie Quinn, and she has been far and away your number 1 leading scorer. And I don't exaggerate when I say far and away. I believe she has 88 goals, and the next closest is 39. How do you become maybe more well-rounded would be the question I would have. So it's not completely dependent on Millie, who had, I think, 7 versus USC this past weekend.
She had 8.
8. Thank you so much.
She was balling. It was her senior day, so we expected Millie to go into her, overdrive mode, as she usually does in these big moments. How we become more well-rounded? I think we are very well-rounded. Millie dominates a lot of the finishes and the shooting, but it's also, Macy starting on that same side with Millie, and just the dynamic of the 2 of them. And I'll add Laura Cardosh into that mix as well. The 3 of them on that side, the amount of driving and movement and picks that they put in for each other. In big moments, Millie's there, and she will take the shot 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. But it's also because the Laura and Macy next to her, helping her create and to get open in those moments.
Yeah. And so on that left side with Laura Cardos and Macy McGee, those 3 with Millie Quinn, you've got Laura with 30 goals. Millie, I'm sorry, I misquoted. I was looking at an old stat sheet with 106, and you've got Macy with 32. If my math serves, that's 168 goals from 3 players. So, that's truly, truly remarkable for your 1-2 side. What do you attribute that to get that much production out of 3 players? And that's not saying anything else. Itziar Almeida with 49, Sophie Shorter, 38. You guys put up a lot of goals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of goals.
We are a very offensively driven team.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You can ask Macy what we do at practices. We play defense every single practice because I'm not worried about us not scoring goals. It's how we minimize the amount of goals that we get, because it's in my mind it's a lot easier to beat a team that only can score 4 goals against us than a team that scores 21 goals against us. So we try to focus a lot on the defense, but granted, we have a lot of players who are very offensively invested.
Yeah. And I'm looking at this. You have 473 goals for, but 237 against. The next closest is 348 for. So you're 130 goals, 125 goals better than USC, which is remarkable. But you've given up 67 more, and so certainly you've got to tighten that up. I'm going to go to Macy now as a true freshman. First off, we had your sister on last week, so I feel like I'm part of the family now.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Macy, talk to us about your experience thus far at ASU. Like, what have you loved about it? What have you grown from? I'd love to hear a little bit about what Coach Party has done with the program and what drew you to ASU.
Yeah, I actually have had, I feel like I really loved my freshman year so far. I think there's a lot of experience on our team, and I think that's helped me grow a little bit. Like talking about Millie Quinn, I think she has been a big part of that. She's like a really high senior figure, and I think she's a really big leader on our team. So that's helped me grow a lot on that left side. I think our freshman class is very big, so coming in with like a lot of other girls that were very new, trying to figure out how to handle this freshman year was really helpful. Like I think it really helped us all come together. We had the leadership of the senior class, but also kind of meshing together really helped. And then I think Petra's role in that was really helpful in kind of figuring out how we all went together. Like, how are we going to manage this big freshman class? And then how are we going to manage all these returners coming in? And I think it's been a really good experience. I think our team has meshed really well together, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And you personally, talk to us about what you've enjoyed about the process this year.
Honestly, I love ASU. I'm going to talk a second about the sports, like the football, the hockey. I really enjoyed that. The process, I think your freshman year ought to be probably one of your hardest years in college athletics or playing D1. I think it's definitely going to be the hardest part, and it's a huge adjustment from high school. I've really enjoyed just, honestly, I don't like getting up at 6 a.m., but I think I've enjoyed it because you're working hard and you're building this experience with your team. It's a bonding experience if you're up and it's pitch black, but you're practicing in the morning. And I think enjoying those moments with your team is the biggest part.
Well, I'll tell you, your coach is nicer than mine. I was up at 4:30 for 5:15 practices. So maybe a little gravity for your Coach Party there, because I think you're getting a little more sleep than certainly I did. I don't know about
you might give her ideas, Wes. Can you please calm down?
I mean, I think Macy's got a good grip on what's going on.
What are we going to do in the fall? We're changing the schedule now.
Yeah, sure. Now, you guys have 2 regular season games left, UCLA and Indiana, both MPSF games. Here in the next couple of weeks. You're heading into the MPSF tournament, which will be at Cal. Talk to us about how you prepare for that as you kind of, look, you guys are right there. It's a very competitive conference, right? You are in the best conference, and I say best, but you are in the highest ranked conference in America in the MPSF for women's water polo. Cal, Stanford, USC, UCLA, and ASU. How do you get over kind of the hump, if you will, where you beat Cal last year in the quarterfinals in NC2A? But how do you start beating these teams?
I wish we did.
I'm sorry, in MPSF. Excuse me.
No, we didn't.
Right.
We haven't.
That was Hawaii. God, I'm way off today. Hawaii beat them. How do you get over the hump so you are beating them regularly? What is that going to take from you, Coach Party?
I think we are on the right track. I think we're getting closer and closer and closer, and we are maturing at a very good level or very good rate. If you look at how we've played in the first week of the season versus now, I think it is getting better. However, our opponents are getting harder and harder, which so it doesn't show yet in the wins. But I think one of the things is that when USC or when Cal or UCLA or Stanford shows up to play Arizona State University, they expect to win because they've done it over and over and over again so many times. And we continue to show up as the underdogs. And as much as I personally love that underdog and the big chip on the shoulder mentality, I think that needs to be a Monday through Friday mentality when it's time to put in the work necessary. But on Saturdays, we need to show up with a completely different mindset, like really seeing ourselves and believing in ourselves that we belong. We very much belong, and anyone can win this game. And I think I've been saying this to the girls that it's maybe I'm delirious. Maybe I believe in this place and in this program like too much, because clearly it is a huge part of my life and who I am as a person. But I really believe that once we're able to break through and just get that one big important upset, the rest of it, I'm not going to say like everything will fall like dominoes, because that's not quite accurate. But I really believe once we get over this hump, it will become easier and easier.
The standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know a little bit about this particular getting over this. Yeah.
I had a question for Petra. So your first season at ASU, and Wes mentioned that it's quite historic. A personal story for you, your history at ASU, and then coming in as a head coach. Your first season, you went 11-13, I believe, and then in just your second season, you flipped that to 23-8. What would you attribute to that shift? I mean, obviously there's some newness to it, but like, was there anything more that you would share about that experience?
I think just one, the program that we took over, even though I was part of the previous coaching staff and as assistant coach, but in that year when I took over as interim head coach, basically everybody with any sort of playing experience has either graduated or left the program. We had Vanda Baksha at the time, lefty from Hungary, who was amazing and was tearing up all the record books. And she came, she loved her experience, but national team called in Hungary and they needed her home, and she moved back home. And our entire starting line and the first two off the bench all graduated and left. So they were the people who played together for all 4 years. So, and nobody behind them that we retained in our first year as a staff together had any sort of playing experience, meaningful playing experience. Right. And it was really, we started from scratch, essentially. And just going back to what I was saying earlier, is that the small incremental changes and small incremental building, it's something that I really, really believe in. And we knew, we all have everybody on our staff. I absolutely love my staff. So I need the world to know that it is a really, really fantastic group of people to work with, from athletic trainer to assistant coaches to graduate assistant to our strength and conditioning staff to everyone, academic coach. And everybody really believed from day one that this place could be special and should be special. And now how do we make those small little incremental changes? What are the adjustments that we want to make to the team culture, to the player personnel, to the style of training, to the preparation, be it in the off season or be it the week to week during season against specific opponents, how we want to approach that, and the mental preparation, all of that. So it's just been that, just stacking days on top of each other.
Yeah. Sounds like you took a tough situation and really turned it into a great opportunity for you to create that culture, that ecosystem. We like talking about culture a lot here too. I'm not going to ask you about the culture though. I'm going to ask Macy about the culture. Being newer here, what has the ASU culture, how has that been communicated to you, and how have you been living it?
Okay, well, I actually have a funny story
of it.
Our kind of speaking on culture, our mantra this year has been earn it. So I think a huge part of it has been like working as hard as we can to earn our spot in this conference and in the rankings. So each time like we went up in that ranking, it was because we earned it. And I think part of that culture of just working hard and not so being the underdogs, but more so what can we do to be in that top four, and what can we do as a team to put in every day that much harder at practice. And I think that's been a huge part of our culture, just working toward being the best we can be and the best team we can be.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
And you've had some, USA youth team experience coming into ASU, if I'm not mistaken. Now that's going to be a different experience than a lot of other kids in high school coming into college, but how else has that transition been different? You said coming in as a freshman to D1 college is a jump. Can you talk a little bit more about specifically, like, what is that like? If you were to tell yourself before you were at ASU what it was going to be like, what would you say?
This is a hard question.
Because she's taking it by stride.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Yeah, she's like, maybe not a fair question because it's just too easy. No.
She doesn't walk around freshman. Maybe first couple weeks she was a little shy. She insisted on calling me Coach Party, which was adorable. Everybody called me Miss Petra. But Macy's really, really has taken it by stride.
Wonderful. Yeah. And did you have anything more to add to that?
Yeah, I think honestly, like, what I would say to myself is just be prepared and be prepared for anything coming at you. I mean, it's not like you're going to know everything that's going to happen. You're there and experience it all and then take it as it comes. So.
Yeah. And Wes mentioned you have 30 odd goals for the season. You also have a number of assists on the season for a total of, I think, around 60 points so far. So is that something that just comes naturally to you, this sense of being able to score goals, but also being a playmaker? Or is that like something, is it a skill that you hone specifically?
I
Great question, Clayton.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't think it's necessarily like a skill that I look to. I mean, I always want to assist, but I think I just want to set up the best play. I think that's how I play, and that's how I've always played. It's what can I do to make this work for someone else, or what can I do to make that extra pass? Like, how can I set up the goalie to assist that to Millie or to Lauda? Like, I think it comes with the way I play, I guess. But also always looking to be a shooter. So.
Important to have that balance for a coach, especially, can appreciate it, where someone, if they're in the position to shoot the ball, they'll shoot it, and not just shoot it, but also score. There's a difference between a shooter and a scorer. But also making the play and setting up their teammates.
For me, that's been one of my favorite things, especially about this freshman class, that we had so many players coming in who are very much team water polo oriented, be it the Cardosh twins, be it Yelena Butic, Macy, Mia Tirosh, just so many of them that just want to move the ball and distribute the ball and read the play and look for each other. So I'm very, very excited for as their connection builds with each other over the years, what we could look like. Yeah. Expect some post-to-post assists on 6-on-5s,
Yeah. Those are my favorite. Those are the most wow assists you could have as the post-to-post. Can you tell the twins apart? I'm just curious.
Easily.
Easily. Okay. I just want to make sure. I have a little bit of a tougher question for you, and I think it's a relevant question, but feel free to say, hey, Wes, no, I'm not going to talk about it. We look at the transfer portal today, and Millie Quinn started at Cal, and she transferred to you, so the transfer portal giveth. It also taketh away. And Juliette Dalouin went to Stanford after the Olympic run in 2024. Talk to us about how that's impacted the way you recruit or the conversations you have to ensure that you keep this great freshman class together and all this talent.
I think the transfer portal is a fantastic thing. I think it keeps all of us coaches honest in the recruiting process, because if you're gonna sell, a 16, 17-year-old on like, this is how I am as a coach, this is how our program is, this is how the university is, this is the amount of support you're going to receive, and then they show up and then turns out that you weren't honest in your recruiting, now they have other options, right? So I think the recruiting portal, one, is fantastic. Two, losing Juliet, it would be incredible. We would be having a hell of a season if we still had Juliet. But, like I said, Juliet was in that first class coming in when we took over. And she's thriving at Stanford. And I completely understand all her reasons for why she made that decision. But she just, wanted to have a fantastic 4 years and didn't have time to didn't want to necessarily be a part of that like slow incremental building process that now is finally starting to pay off in this season, which to each their own. Juliet is amazing and very much deserves to be there. But yeah, I think the transfer portal is fantastic.
All right. Good answer.
There you go.
Well, this is awesome. Clay, you have any other questions? I feel like we could talk all day, but
we could talk all day.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
We do talk all day.
Yeah, we do.
But Petra, Macy, want to thank you both for being here. We like to open it up at the end. We like to say the studio is yours. Is there anything you would like to share to prospective recruits or to your team or just women in water polo everywhere?
Well, number one is thank you so much for having us on the show and for investing so much into women's water polo. I think it's awesome. And please keep doing it because our sport deserves so much recognition. These women are incredible. I mean, Macy is becoming a nurse, studying to be a nurse. We have engineers on the team. We have future businesswomen on the team. We have a future doctor on the team, lawyers, and so forth. And they really are the next generation of CEOs and leaders of the world and difference makers. So thank you so much for highlighting them and us, ASU Women's Water Polo, on your show. And just, I challenge everyone, like for the recruits, because you asked, is there anything I want to say to recruits? There's always stuff I want to say to the recruits.
Yeah.
So this is the commercial time, but only, like you said, MPSF is a very tough conference to be a part of, and only 3 teams in the history of NCAA women's water polo have won an NCAA championship. All 3 of those teams are in our conference, and it's a tough competition, but there's no other conference we would ever want to belong to because I truly believe that iron sharpens iron. However, I do challenge those future recruits to take a look at programs outside of California, take a look at programs outside of your traditional top 4, because one, parity and more competition makes our sport better. Competition is great for all of us. And look at universities like ASU, that is, a major research university with over $1 billion a year in research expenditures, that has medical school, that has law school, that has a fantastic business program, that is in a major metropolitan area, 5th biggest city in the country, with us being the only university. So whatever internship, whatever on-hands job experience you want to have, you can have it here because everybody's hiring ASU students or want to have ASU students in their department. So, and there's 300 days of sunshine, 300 days plus. So it's more days of sunshine than Florida and Hawaii. So the lifestyle is fantastic. Take a look at something outside of the top 4 just to experience it and see how it feels.
I love it. Macy,
compelling.
Hold on. Clay, we get so lucky. Sometimes these coaches come on and I'm ready to get back in the pool.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
I'm all fired up now. Like, let's go ASU. I'm all for it. Macy, that's got to feel pretty good having a coach that's that inspirational here just on the spot. Talk to us about anything you'd like to leave us with here.
I think Petra said it all. I totally agree with her, honestly, about our university. ASU is a really cool place, and I think a lot of people don't really look at it that way, but it is a really good university, I would say.
Yeah. Well, wishing you guys all the best as you roll into UCLA and Indiana to close out your regular season. You were very close with Cal, 11-10 loss. Really came down to that last quarter as you were tied going in. And looking forward to seeing the performance and the continued growth with 9 freshmen. Petra, you guys, this team has some real potential. And so excited to see where you take this kind of from here. So thank you both for taking the time. It's been wonderful having you on. I feel like we need to have another session with you guys just because there's a lot we could talk about. So thank you both very much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.